Hey there everyone, welcome to FJX 2000 Productions and another episode of Let's FJ. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about a topic I think is really interesting and that no one seems to talk about or acknowledge, and that is how the FJ Cruiser impacted the 4Runner, Tacoma, Tundra, and other Toyota vehicles. Now, there are many other videos out there where folks compare the FJ Cruiser to the 4Runner or Tacoma, like the recent videos from TFL Off-Road, but that's not what this video is. Rather, in this video, I want to discuss how the FJ, even after it was removed from Toyota's lineup, left its mark in Toyota's legacy, and how we can still see that impact in Toyota's available features and packages today. Before we begin, I have to thank you all for the amazing continued support you all give me by watching my videos, liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps encourage me to keep making videos for you all, and I'm so pleased with the growth I've seen in the channel this summer that I'm more than happy to do so. I hope to earn your subscription today if you enjoyed today's video and aren't already subscribed, and if you think I'm doing a good job, go ahead and let me know by clicking that like button. It was amazing to see in less than a week that my last video comparing FJ Cruiser years was able to reach my 1,000 like goal. You are all incredible, thank you so much. But today, make sure to let me know in the comments if you're a Tacoma or 4Runner person visiting the channel, as I'm extremely curious if this video will reach a broader audience than my typical FJ Cruiser videos, or you can simply answer the question I pose for you all at the end of the video, so be sure to watch till the end for that. But with that out of the way, let's get started. Now with this video, I will just preface that I am way more knowledgeable about FJs than I am about other Toyota vehicles, so if you're a 4Runner person, Tacoma person, or any other non-FJ person visiting my channel, first off, welcome and thank you for watching. But please don't destroy me in the comments if I happen to make a mistake, but do let me know because I am always willing to learn more. As a refresher, the FJ Cruiser is a relatively recent addition to Toyota's lineup of vehicles, having been released in 2006 as the 2007 model year and later discontinued in North America in 2014, then in other markets in later years, though it is still available in some select markets around the globe. Comparing the FJ to other similar Toyota vehicles, you have the 4Runner, which came out in 1984, and then there's the Tacoma, which was introduced in 1995, only 11 years before the FJ. But it was really just a more modern version of the previous Toyota pickup or Hilux that had been around since the 1960s. And then of course we have the granddaddy of the FJ Cruiser itself, the Land Cruiser, which was created back in the 1950s. Though the modern Land Cruiser is quite a bit different than the FJ40 Land Cruiser, which the FJ Cruiser is modeled after, if it weren't for any or all of these other vehicles' success, there would be no way the FJ Cruiser would have ever gone into production only a couple short years after its initial debut as a concept vehicle. So us FJ lovers have to give special thanks to these other vehicles and overall off-road community for paving the way for the FJ Cruiser to be made, especially since the FJ shares so many similarities with these other vehicles, even sharing some common suspension, frame, powertrain, and off-roading components. Later, when the FJ Cruiser was discontinued in 2014 for North America, the community had heavy hearts, and to this day, many folks are still upset and confused as to why Toyota would make this decision, especially with the FJ still being made for other parts of the world. If you want me to do a deep analysis as to why I think this happened, let me know in the comments. But with the FJ Cruiser leaving a hole in Toyota's lineup, from my perspective, Toyota decided it would be easiest to fill this gap with its other 4x4 trucks and SUVs, but they used the FJ Cruiser as a template or inspiration for what would take its place. To explain what I mean by this, in the FJ's final year, Toyota of course offered the FJ Cruiser in various packages like any other year, but to send off the FJ in a memorable way, they upgraded the existing Trail Teams Special Edition package into what they called the Trail Teams Ultimate Edition. The Trail Teams package was already the most upgraded and off-road ready version of the FJ you could buy from the dealership in previous years. But 2014's Ultimate Edition had several unique modifications that gave it a slight edge even over its Special Edition predecessors, and these unique add-ons would later impact Toyota's future lineup of vehicle trims. I will be using the Trail Teams Ultimate Edition as a reference point throughout this video, but if you want to learn more about it or other Special Edition FJ Cruisers, then check out my video all about them. I will leave a link in the description below. A year after the FJ Cruiser was removed from Toyota's lineup, Toyota unveiled their new TRD Pro series, an off-road specific trim level for the 4Runner, Tacoma, and Tundra, advertised as being the most aggressive, extreme, and high-performance off-road package on the market for any of Toyota's vehicles. But when you look at the details and features of these models, it's easy to see where Toyota got a lot of their inspiration from. And the point I want to make in this video is that these TRD Pro vehicles were designed to try and live up to what the FJ Cruiser was. As previously mentioned in 2015, the TRD Pro Series trim was available for the 4Runner, Tacoma, and Tundra, with the Sequoia getting the TRD Pro treatment a few years later in 2020, and the RAV4 being rumored as possibly being added to the TRD Pro lineup for 2022 or later. All TRD Pro trucks come outfitted with the new special grille, sporting block letters that spell out Toyota. Look familiar? This edition certainly turned heads as the last vehicle to also have the name of Toyota spelled out across the front versus the traditional Toyota logo was none other than the FJ Cruiser. The FJ Cruiser, of course, had the Toyota letters spelled out as a way of replicating what had been done on the older Toyota Land Cruisers, which are world-renowned for their off-road capabilities. So it was interesting to see Toyota take a page out of the FJ Cruiser design notes and apply it to the TRD Pro series, as they wanted to set these vehicles apart as serious off-road machines, just as they had done with the FJ. Toyota also outfitted these TRD Pro rigs with TRD tuned shocks and springs, which for all the vehicles both leveled and lifted their stances. This is exactly what Toyota had also done with the Trail Team's Ultimate Edition FJ Cruiser, as it was upgraded with TRD Bilstein suspension, which was designed to level out the FJ's ride height by slightly lifting the front end, thus giving the FJ an even better approach angle for off-roading and a little more clearance over obstacles. The TRD Pro vehicles also came with additional underbelly protection in the form of TRD quarter-inch aluminum skid plates, with the 4Runner being equipped with one for 2015 and up, the Tacoma for 2017 and up, and finally the Tundra and Sequoia for 2020 and up. But again, the TRD aluminum skid plate was something Toyota had already used for the 2014 Trail Teams. This skid plate for the FJ increased the protection of the vehicle's underside when compared to the traditional OEM skid plates, and was a huge improvement over the previous optional front skid plate accessory, which was prone to bending easily and took away quite a bit of the FJ's approach angle. Toyota had learned from their mistakes with the FJ's older skid plate, and knew they had found the magic ticket when they threw this new TRD skid plate on the Ultimate Edition, making it a no-brainer to also equip on the TRD Pros. For each year, the TRD Pro was only offered in a few select colors, usually including black and white, though this isn't always the case, and with the addition of one or two other special TRD Pro exclusive colors. For 2015, along with black and white, the new color introduced was Inferno, which I personally love. This method of having the TRD Pro only offered in certain colors for certain years sounds an awful lot like what Toyota had already done with the FJ Cruiser Special Editions over the years. So to me, I again continue to think they took inspiration from the methodologies used on the FJ and applied it to the TRD Pro, since they knew it was a formula that would work well at increasing the model's desirability and exclusivity. Now, I'm not going to say that every color Toyota came up with for the FJ Cruiser was absolutely the most amazing color ever, but it would appear as though Toyota found some of the FJ Cruiser's colors to be so iconic that they started implementing them on the TRD Pro series vehicles. For 2016, the TRD Pro came in black and white again, but now replacing the Inferno color was Quicksand, which, as FJ fans know, was a previous FJ color offered from 2011 to 2014. Then, in 2017, the TRD Pros were available in white, Barcelona red, and cement gray. While the red was a unique addition, cement gray was an FJ color used in 2013 for the Trail Team Special Edition, and then was offered as a standard color for the white-roofed FJs in 2014. At this point, the FJ Cruiser community was scratching their heads thinking, wow, this is kind of a coincidence with Toyota using some of the FJ's old colors, but Toyota wouldn't stop there. Moving on to 2018, the TRD Pro colors were again black and white, and now the new exclusive TRD Pro color was Cavalry Blue, another ex-FJ Cruiser color used from 2011 to 2014. And it didn't stop there. For 2019, the TRD Pro trim was offered in black and white, but now also Voodoo Blue. We're talking about the Voodoo Blue, as in only the most recognizable color when it comes to FJ Cruisers, the same color used on the original concept FJ Cruiser itself, and then later put into production for 2007 through 2009 FJs. At this point, the FJ community could undoubtedly say that Toyota was not only taking off-roading cues from the FJ Cruiser's legacy and applying it to the TRD Pro trucks, but now also visual color cues. And that's not all. In 2020, the TRD Pro came in white, a magnetic gray metallic, black, and you guessed it, another iconic FJ Cruiser color, Army Green. Army Green being a color used for 2010 through 2014 FJ Cruisers, and even being used as the Trail Team Special Edition color for 2011. Now if that's not cool, I don't know what is. It is only recently for 2021 that Toyota has stepped away from drawing from the FJ Cruiser palette of colors, with the TRD Pro colors once again being white, magnetic gray, black, and now lunar rock, which is pretty much like cement gray 2.0 if you ask me. This just shows how iconic and popular of a color cement gray was, not only for the TRD Pro, but also for previous Toyota models like the FJ. For 2022, it also sounds like Toyota is shaking it up, with the new color being Electric Lime Metallic, which so far seems to be like one of those love it or hate it colors. But either way, maybe for 2023 or future TRD Pro models, we could see the return of other FJ Cruiser colors, like Sun Fusion, Radiant Red, or even Magma. Now if the TRD Pro grills, skid plates, suspension, and paint colors aren't enough to show how much Toyota has drawn from the FJ Cruiser notebook to create this iconic line of off-roaders, the next few things will only support my hypothesis even more. When it comes to wheels and tires, the 2015 TRD Pro Tacoma was outfitted with 16-inch TRD beadlock style wheels in a black finish, wrapped in 265/70 R16 BF Goodrich all-terrain KO tires. This exact same wheel and tire combo was actually previously used for the 2010 and 2013 Trail Team Special Edition FJ Cruisers, and the same wheels, but in a gray finish, were then used on the 2014 Trail Team's Ultimate Edition. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the suspension and wheel and tire combo used on the 2014 Trail Team's Ultimate Edition was actually previously used on the 2012 through 2014 TRD TX Baja Series Tacomas. So we can see a bit of overlap in the TRD and Toyota off-road and design departments with what modifications or add-ons they put into different vehicles and packages. So I'm sure one could make the argument that the TRD TX Baja series was also an inspiration that led to the creation of the TRD Pro package, particularly for the Tacoma, with many of the modifications for the TRD Pro Tacoma carrying over from the TRD TX Baja trim. But given all the other evidence, it is probably safe to say the FJ Cruiser also had a big, if not bigger, part in it too. Sticking with the topic of wheels, many folks associate the iconic midnight black 17-inch TRD wheels with the 2015 through 2020 TRD Pro 4Runners, but fewer folks know that this wheel was actually previously used on an FJ Cruiser concept vehicle, the 2013 FJS Cruiser Concept to be specific. Debuted at the 2012 FJ Summit Off-Road event and 2012 SEMA Auto Show, these wheels were so popular and inquired about, even by myself, that it was a pleasant surprise when they appeared on the 2015 TRD Pro Series 4Runner only a couple years later, again showing, even in the wheel department, that the FJ Cruiser had ties to what would later be assembled as the TRD Pro package. Finally, the last piece of evidence to support my idea that the TRD Pro line of vehicles were used to help fill in the void left by the FJ Cruisers are the roof racks used on the TRD Pro 2019 and up 4Runners and 2020 and up Sequoias. Though this is more specifically aimed at the 4Runner, it is easy to see with either vehicle how the design of these roof racks is not only almost identical to the FJ, but their construction seems to be exactly the same. From the mounts on the roof to the tubular sections and joining pieces, they pretty much took the FJ Cruiser roof rack design blueprints, reshaped them a bit, and applied it to these TRD Pro vehicles. Roof racks, of course, were an extremely common accessory to the FJ Cruiser, whether special edition or not, and it is almost humorous that Toyota would employ such a similarly designed rack to these new vehicles like what had been used on the FJ. If this isn't enough proof that Toyota essentially wanted an FJ Cruiser in their lineup without actually having an FJ Cruiser in their lineup, I don't know what is. But if we're being honest, that's what they got. The FJ Cruiser and 4Runner in particular are so similar that there's pretty much nothing you can do in an FJ that you cannot also do in a 4Runner when it comes to off-roading, or vice versa. And with the 2015 and up TRD Pro 4Runners pretty much being a copy and paste of the 2014 Trail Team's Ultimate Edition FJ Cruisers, besides the color, it is undeniable to say that the TRD Pro 4Runner is a stand-in for the once unparalleled FJ Cruiser. And even when you go to the Toyota USA website and try to look up the FJ Cruiser, what do you get? a message stating that the FJ Cruiser has been discontinued, but to instead look at Toyota's 4Runner and the TRD Pro series, aka the closest thing Toyota can come up with that isn't an actual FJ Cruiser, but will still fit the bill as a remarkable off-roader. I even consider some aspects of the 5th generation 4Runners to be superior to the FJ Cruiser, including the newer technology implemented into the current gen of 4Runners back in 2010 that the FJ never received, such as KDSS, multi-terrain select, downhill assist control, and hill start assist control. Both models received crawl control, but FJs didn't get it until 2013, while the 4Runner had it since 2010. Now, one could argue the FJ never received some of these additional off-road systems since the FJ didn't need them like the 4Runner might have, but at the same time, it is too bad the FJ wasn't simply treated with all the new 4x4 bells and whistles Toyota had to offer. Yet, there is one 4Runner accessory that has never been included in the TRD Pro package that I consider an essential piece of serious off-roading hardware, and that is rock rails or rock sliders. For more details as to why I think these are so important, check out my video about my top 5 recommended modifications for FJ Cruisers, as the information in there is also applicable to other similar Toyotas like 4Runners and Tacomas. I just find it surprising that Toyota does offer OEM rock sliders as an additional accessory for 4Runners, but that they aren't something included in the TRD Pro package when it is supposed to be the most off-road ready and rugged package available, especially since Toyota implemented OEM rock rails on every FJ Cruiser Special Edition over the years. It just seems like a slight misstep not to include them in the TRD Pro package already. But we're getting off track, so let me just sum things up for this video. It would seem from Toyota's implementation of the TRD Pro series line of vehicles right after the discontinuation of the FJ Cruiser, and the marketing that made the TRD Pro vehicles out to be the most capable and off-road ready vehicles in Toyota's lineup, a position previously held by the FJ Cruiser, and with the sheer amount of accessories and features that were previously used on the FJ and then implemented into what became the TRD Pro series trim level over the years, I feel that we can definitively say this: Toyota would have never created the TRD Pro series in the first place had it not been for the departure of the beloved FJ Cruiser. But this move from Toyota does make a lot of sense. In 2014, they already had the TRD TX Baja series for the Tacoma and the similar Trail Teams Ultimate Edition for the FJ Cruiser, but Toyota likes to standardize packages. For example, the Tacoma has the quintessential TRD Sport and TRD Off-Road packages, yet 4Runner had the Trail package. So in 2017, they rebranded the Trail package as the TRD Off-Road package, building a continuity between their off-road vehicles. So it makes sense that a couple years earlier, Toyota would basically combine and rename the TRD TX Baja series and Trail Teams Ultimate Edition packages into the simpler TRD Pro series, and apply the similar package with common features and colors to all their desired vehicles. It is still a mystery to me why Toyota never offered the Land Cruiser with the TRD Pro treatment, but it is neat to think that perhaps if the FJ hadn't been cut in 2014, that we could have gotten an inferno-colored TRD Pro FJ Cruiser in 2015. But then again, had they never removed the FJ from the lineup, as the years went on, would they have later reused past FJ colors, including past FJ Cruiser Special Edition colors, for the TRD Pro FJs? I don't think so. So I can only believe the TRD Pros are the result of the FJ Cruiser being removed from Toyota's North American roster. It is at least neat to recognize the little bits and pieces of the FJ Cruiser's legacy that live on through this unique package, as it sort of acts as an homage to what is now gone, but is also now a collectible classic. So my question to you all is, do you agree? Hopefully this insight into the TRD Pro series and its likely ties to the FJ Cruiser were interesting for you, and got you possibly thinking about things you maybe didn't realize before. I just know that I've had these thoughts for some time now, but finally decided to make a video about it to share it with you all. Whether you agree or disagree with me, let me know, and I'd love to hear your feedback. If you have any other insights or ideas, be sure to let me know. But thank you so much for watching and for all the support you give me. As I mentioned in my last video, I recently made a new playlist specifically for my Let's FJ informational videos, which dive into a range of different FJ Cruiser related topics. So be sure to check that playlist out and watch any episodes you haven't seen already if you want to learn more about these unique vehicles. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more FJ Cruiser related content. I'll catch you all next time, so until then, take care.